And welcome back to the Don't Make This Weird podcast. I am one of your hosts, Heather. And with me, as always, Tony is hanging out.
We've got to set up a split screenshot just with
Something
you and
like that, yeah. Tony is hanging out with me tonight in studio along with Nate, who is switching the cameras for us, and he's paying attention tonight.
He is paying attention.
Calling him out. We also have a very special guest tonight.
Can we introduce that now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Or
Yeah.
do we want to talk
I mean, we
about...
usually do how was your week kind of
Right,
thing,
right.
and then let's keep it a secret for a minute.
Okay.
Are you good over there?
Shh.
1 second. Hey, everybody who's tuning in on YouTube and Twitch, we appreciate you guys joining us tonight.
I'm pulling up Twitch right now.
Yeah, there we go. So, quickly, because I don't want to keep him waiting, because I'm super excited that he's here tonight.
I got to make sure it sounds good. All right, there we go.
All right.
Cool.
It's such a weird thing
All
to
right.
hear my voice on the, yeah. Anyway, been a crazy, crazy week. How has
kidding.
your week been?
Busy.
You always say that.
Well, and that's the thing is I'm always busy doing something. I mean, the garden, which I got a compliment from the guests.
The guest, the secret mystery guest.
The secret mystery guest's better half was,
right.
which I'm not making this up and I'm not being perverted at all, but she was complimenting me on the size of my zucchini.
You do have good sized zucchinis. It happens. It does.
So yeah,
the more that you can make gluten-free zucchini bread, just putting that out there.
I mean, yeah, it was, but yeah, I've been working on that. Weeding, you go away for a duration, and people don't know how to do that stuff. So I'm still playing catch up on all of that.
It takes a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and I finally got all of my garden boxes planted. So
all of the soil out of the truck and everything, good to go, huh?
Hercules.
There you go. Yeah, that's pretty cool. You do have a nice suburban garden, and if anybody has been watching or paying attention, you do go live and kind of show people what you've been up to, what you're working on, and what you have growing, which is cool.
It's time consuming. It's very therapeutic. You don't want to stab people after you've ripped weeds out, and you got dirt in your hands. And
I don't know. Maybe I still probably would.
Well, I mean,
I got the little fork thingy.
When you have a shovel and you have all kinds of instruments.
So practice.
Yes.
I gotcha.
Yes,
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
I can kill a thistle with a hoe in no time. I'm just saying. It's a garden tool. Good God.
I know. I gotcha. I understood that. I don't know if everybody tuning in understood that, but I gotcha. I know what you're saying here.
But yeah, I worked on some music and stuff. Dino stopped by.
Cool.
Drank 3 bottles of wine, wrote some great music. Because that's what I do.
Is that how that works?
Well, I have to say, this episode is brought to you by Jesus Wine.
Okay. Oh my gosh! Wow, you heard it here.
Yeah, you heard it here. So, what year is this? Let me see.
What year is it?
This is a. Come on, give me a year here. It's not giving me a year. No, I got nothing. Oh, anyways,
it
great
means
value.
It's not good. Yeah. It means it's Walmart and not good.
Right.
Not good.
It's Walmart Jesus Wine.
There you go.
So.
Oh my God.
Anyways, how's your week been?
My week has been pretty incredible. It's been a good week. I've been keeping busy working on jewelry and different stuff that I'm getting ready for whatever fairs, craft things, whatever are available, and also to sell online, which is cool. I've been having a lot of fun with that. Doing a lot of recycling jewelry.
Yeah.
Which sounds interesting. Sounds maybe not so good. But
is that what you got going on right here?
That's what I got.
Hey, show. No, the microphone's alive. There you go.
So yeah. These are actually recycled CDs turned into butterfly wings.
Really?
Yeah.
How the hell did you do that?
Just crafty.
Reminds me of the Beastie Boys. She's crafty.
That's crafty. There you go.
She's just my type.
And, yeah, I'll get into it a little bit later, but remind me about ER dates.
What?
An ER date, yeah.
Are you taking a chapter out of my book of the proper date?
No, but I'll get into that a little bit. But other than that, the week has been really good. Just working on a schedule of things to get done and going through just a lot of things still being canceled, but a lot of stuff that is not coming, is coming back. So we'll talk a little bit about that because I'm excited about some of the stuff we've got going on. But yeah, really good week. Can't complain. Just can't. Wouldn't be worth it. So yeah, but okay, let's get to our guest because
Let's
I'm
get
more
to our
excited
guest.
about that than how the week's been.
Right.
So it has been a long time.
Way too long.
I haven't seen him since February when the play was. Yeah,
Yeah.
since February. And I am happy that we were able to get him on because we talked a little bit about
Last week's
our mystery
episode.
guest last
Yes.
week. And I'm so glad that you guys are tuning in because Leon is here.
Uh-oh.
Leon
Here we go.
Kratz.
Look at that.
It doesn't work so well, but you know, I like the camo. The camo. Right. I can imagine all day long having to talk with that thing on your face.
Oh, I have different ones for work.
Oh, okay.
This is my going out one.
That's it. The one that matches everything.
Right?
Everybody's got to have one of those, I guess.
Well, they can't see you wearing a mask because it's camouflage.
There we go.
Yeah.
John Senior.
Yeah.
John Corona. Sorry, that was horrible. Too
John
soon.
Virus.
Too soon. Too soon.
Too soon.
So yeah, welcome to Don't Make This Weird. It's been a while. We had you on a long time ago when we first started out, so I'm really happy to see you back. We talked a little bit last week about Cogwork Slums and some of the brilliance that you have come up with, some of the ideas. I mean, we didn't give too much away. Some of the music we did share, and people were really, really liking it. So,
Good.
so happy that you're here. It's awesome to see you guys. So what have you been up to? What's new?
I've been working a lot.
Yeah.
Love my job. Got a new job. Medical assistant for podiatrist. I love it.
Awesome.
Been doing that for almost 4 months.
Nice.
Yep.
Very cool. Very cool.
But I've been jotting down all creative notes that I have because that's what I do. I drive my fiance crazy with always having a notebook in my hand.
And she looks lovely, even drove crazy.
Well, that's what I do.
Yeah. I don't see any gray hairs or anything, so you must not be driving her too crazy. Oh, well, I got the look, so you must be.
No,
She's like, bitch, what?
She's like, let me tell you, girl.
no,
Yeah.
her mom does hair, so
Oh,
yeah, she even during
You think
the-
she could help me out? I mean, take a little off the top.
Well, when we were upstairs, I showed your high school graduation picture.
Oh,
there.
Jesus.
the curls there, yeah.
Couldn't figure out who that was. I was like, yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
The long hair there and the glasses and her. Yeah, I couldn't either when I first seen it. I was like, I feel like I know this guy, but I don't know this guy.
I was high as fuck in that picture.
I imagine.
'cause
I imagine.
I was not doing my senior pictures sober.
No, I don't think anybody did.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad that you have moved into a different career and are actually loving it. I think that's important. A lot of us just go to work and we don't find something that we actually love. So that's awesome. I'm happy to hear that you are doing that and congratulations on the engagement. That's awesome.
Oh,
I'm so happy for you.
Congrats.
Yeah, that's very cool. And I did see the video. Very clever.
Yep.
Sure. I wanted to high five you and just congratulate you on that because that was very cool. I
So-
liked how you did that.
Because I doubt anybody else has seen the video. So we love doing escape rooms. That's just one thing that, and I knew that I was going to propose.
Yeah.
And she even knew I was going to propose. And I was like, hey, they're, having trouble with the ring. They have to resize this. And I already had the ring. And one of our friends was, one of our friends was in on the whole thing. I was like, I'm going to propose in an escape room. The last little, puzzle
Right.
had the ring in it.
Oh, nice.
that's
Oh yeah. And so we went through the whole thing, and everybody else was in on the joke. There must have been at least 10 of us there.
It looked like you guys had a room full of people
Yep.
with you. That's
Nice.
That's cool.
And I knew I wanted to do it in an escape room, and it just so happened we are some beta testers
Yeah.
for a place down in Flint.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
And we got an email that said, hey, do you want a beta test? And I was like, let's go ahead and see if they can set this. And they were like, yeah, we do this all the time. Let's do that.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
So we
That's
made
cool.
sure that she had the last puzzle in her hand. And I was like, oh, I'll hold the flashlight right here on my knees for no reason at all.
But she was like turned away from you, so she didn't see that part until she turned around, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That was
That's
cool. Very cool.
So it was very nice. But our wedding's going to be bigger. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So many more surprises.
Oh man, just gave that look like all right. So
We're We're gonna have an Elvis impersonator at our wedding.
Really?
Yep.
Oh.
It's gonna be me.
Okay.
But
We got a win.
I always get these little tidbits about when I get married. Adam will throw in things like, "Yeah, Adam or Tony and I are gonna skip down the aisle, in Dumb and Dumber suits," and I'm like, "When did you guys decide this? Because
to Hakuna Matata.
I didn't
Oh,
sign off on
yeah.
this. Like, I didn't sign off
you
on
totally
that.
did.
Nope. Nope. I'm just sharing the link with you guys. If you guys are wanting to share this link out there, I'm putting it out on Don't Make This Weird right now in Strange Friends Media.
See, we've already
so-
got stuff going on in Twitch.
I
Candy
got
chimes
stuff
in and
too.
says, "Hello, family," and "Hello, Leon."
Hello.
stuff on YouTube too. We're busy over here.
Yeah.
Lexi White says, "Hey guys." Cindy says, "Hey guys." It sounds like "Hey guys" a lot.
Hey,
and Adam
guys.
says, "Hey guys,"
Hey,
sounding
guys.
great.
What the hell?
But I have more people I think over here
Uh-huh.
hanging out on YouTube. So guys, if you're here hanging out and on
saying.
YouTube, let me know what you got. Tell me something to any questions
See,
or
they're all
whatever.
on Twitch. They're waiting for us to say something funny.
Maybe we'll see.
Need some more dick and fart jokes.
We'll see. So yeah, I'm
They're
sharing
coming.
this.
They're coming.
I don't
He's
doubt
trying
it.
so hard not to make it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to be appropriate, but not appropriate.
No.
Is that what's happening? So yeah, so one of the, like I said, we were talking last week about Cogwork Slums and a lot of the different, you have all kinds of projects that you've written down, have planned, worked out, and that was one of the things that we were super excited about, and we kind of sparked it a little bit last week with the people that were tuning in.
Yeah.
Which is cool because not only are we on YouTube and Twitch, I've already mentioned that, but we're also on solidstateradio.net. So any of their listeners got a chance to hear some of that music too. And what did we play last week exactly?
I honestly don't remember. That's why I'm going back to the folder.
He's gonna go check and see what we played.
They're all good.
They are all good.
So while you're
Very
looking,
good.
can I touch on the music a little bit?
Yeah.
The
Go ahead.
creative process. I think we touched on this maybe in years ago, but so when we first decided to do this, we were like, hey, let's create a song for each main character, kind of like a theme song.
Yeah.
And I would come up to Tony and be like, hey, I got this idea. Let's do it this way.
Right.
And he'd be like, yeah, I got you, brother. No problem.
Right.
And all of a sudden, he'd just get like 5 minutes of this pure lick and just and I'd be like, yeah, I love that. That's awesome. But there's 3 or 5 seconds that can we just take that part and expand it? And just the look on his face, like, yeah, I got this, you asshole. So,
No,
but
it was not that bad.
no,
It was the.
No, you guys work really well together. Actually, you'd give the idea of what you wanted it to sound like because, like me, we don't really instrument, but we can a little bit. So to describe that to Tony, he's just
Right.
like, "Oh, okay," and then he would start playing it, and you're like, "Yeah, but maybe a little bit like this."
Yep.
But but it worked out. The process, seeing the process between you guys working on the music and whatnot, was just really, really cool to see, and it was fun to be a part of. I absolutely loved all of it. So I'm so thankful that you're here. It feels like the band's getting back together.
We're getting the band back together.
You know?
What I was gonna say is the challenging part is when we were doing the some of the scene score stuff, and we were literally going note by note. You're like, nope, not that note. Nope, not that note.
Yep.
And when the scene was done, and then we brought everybody back into the studio, and it was like, okay, here's the scene, boom, and then like we had what 10 people in the studio,
Yeah,
and you're like, close your eyes, just listen to the music, and here's the scene, and you start describing it as the scene's going on with the music, and it was just like, oh, I mean, it was a total amazing moment.
when Sarah Out of the Ashes.
Oh,
I
God,
described
yeah.
that scene and
That's
that
such a good
music.
one.
It fits so perfectly,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a blessing. Being able to connect to someone.
Yeah,
who can-
absolutely.
So I love it. I love it. I miss it. I miss it a whole bunch and a lot.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh, got some more stuff on YouTube here really quick while I'm looking. Adam says, "Hey, Smoochy Poo," to Tony.
I'm Googly Bear. You're Smoochy Poo. Get it right, damn it.
Congrats, Leon, on the engagement. My dad's joining in and says, "Hello, guys," and Jeff says, "Hey, what's going on?" So
yeah, we got people on Twitch saying YouTube sucks. So just throwing that.
you do not. You're so full of it right now.
Look what it says. YouTube sucks.
All right. Just one person.
Yeah,
Okay, all
It's
right.
a Me Too mistake.
But yeah, so not to get too far away from that, creating the music, creating the idea. You already had some of the characters worked out and the idea of what you wanted to go with Cogwork Slums, and one of the characters that is one of my favorites is Princess.
Okay.
Would you talk a little bit about that and kind of how you got the idea with her?
So I guess I can go back to the beginning. Originally, this was all going to be a LARP. It was going to be a zombie steampunk LARP. And I started just coming up with ideas, spitballing and everything. And then I dropped the whole zombie aspect.
Right.
And started developing this story, because the way my head works is it's like a movie in my head all the time. And so I started to develop, I had somebody in mind. And I was like, what if, this happened to this type of person, and what would they do? And everybody likes rooting for the bad guy.
Of course.
So, I had to have stuff like that. And then I had to have the real bad guy be a really bad guy. But what would make people hate him? Well, one thing in movies, shows, and in anything, you never kill an animal.
Yeah.
And you never kill a kid.
Of course.
So if you do, or you're trying to,
Yeah.
it automatically just puts a big old target on your back.
Of course.
So not to give too much away, but Princess was the person that is theoretically tried or possibly going to be killed. We don't know. You'll have to tune in when we actually get filming.
So that was another thing that we kind of talked about too last week, is if they were really liking the music, which everybody really was, how we can try to get some support for it, because it's going to cost a lot to do a project of this size. And with the storyline and the characters and everything that I know everybody's going to fall in love with, it is worth doing it right and having that funding. So, and that was another reason why we really wanted to talk about it tonight, because you, like I said, you created this story and all these different characters, and I feel deep down in my heart, just like Tony does, that this needs to be done. So
Can we play the intro?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So
All right. Here's the intro to Cogwork Slums.
tingles. I get tingles.
I
still.
know every time, and the commercials that we worked on for that part of it, from what we had to work with, looked really cool.
Yes.
That direction that you had for it and everything. It's just I do too. I got goosebumps going on here. I love it. I love how the whole idea, just the music.
The minute that I hit play on that, just watching his face light up again, that's where that magic was at. Because when we composed that intro, I was like, "What do you think?" And then we turned the studio monitors on, and cranked it all the way up, and just sat back and listened to it. And it was electrifying.
Yeah.
And
Oh
then
yeah.
Each of us have a favorite song.
Oh, absolutely.
You know.
Yeah.
And when we were planning on doing this, I was going to have a cameo.
Yeah.
So I wasn't a main character, but I thought, why not have my own theme song?
I love it.
But that's not even my favorite song. My favorite song is Veronica's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot
That
of
was
other
mine
people, yeah, they love James.
Yep.
They love his.
Yeah.
But the first music
Yeah.
that we did was Rachel's.
Yeah.
And Rachel's is the one that set the tone for everything
Well, yeah.
else.
And we didn't play that one last week.
Okay.
No, we didn't play
Do
that
you,
one.
do you want to kind of discuss a little bit about the character, or you kind of want to wait for that for people to see what the character's like?
Well, I can, if you don't mind, I can touch on some of the characters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely.
Because when we were going to do this 5 years ago, can you believe that?
I can't
5 years
believe-
ago.
It's insane.
So we had people lined up. We had them cast. Characters were cast. We were trying to get, at least the first episode out there. And some of the actors and actresses, I mean, they were just perfect for the part.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure if a certain Mariah Herman is listening, but
He needs to be.
Slade, Slade is just perfect for him because we worked so hard to develop that character.
He's my favorite villain that nobody knows yet.
Right.
We showed the steampunk mask and stuff up there.
We did last week,
Yeah.
It's incredible.
If you guys missed that show, you can go back and see that prop, and
Yeah.
we talked a little bit about the steam horse and stuff too. But I want you to go into the characters because I love when you explain them. And if we're able to play a little snippet of the music or however much you want to,
Yeah.
definitely with Rachel, because we didn't talk about her or her song last week for sure.
Okay.
Talk about it.
So which character would you? Because so you can, instead of me setting you up, you set me up.
There you go.
Which character you're gonna
go right
play?
to Rachel. We can
Okay.
play Rachel's theme if that's all right.
Yep, that's fine.
All right,
so,
cool.
Do you want me to explain first?
Yeah,
and then play?
yeah.
Okay.
Explain
Yeah,
it.
explain.
Set it up.
So Rachel, she is well, let's start with what she is. She is Gladius's manager.
Right.
Gladius is a gladiator in our steampunk, arena games.
Right.
But she used to be a prostitute.
Right.
But she worked at this place called Big Mama's House.
Yep.
And it's just not a brothel, it's also the local form of entertainment. They have a stage, so they have singers,
Right.
they have dancers, and that was expected. If you were not back in the rooms, then you were on stage.
Right.
Well, Rachel had the benefit of never having to actually sell her body.
Right.
She was just really good at on the stage.
Right.
And when she was allowed to leave and everything, she got this brilliant idea. I'm going to be this guy's manager
Right.
and take him to the top. And she's a very powerful, independent woman. And but she's just got that sass, I'll never forget the person we originally had cast.
Oh God, she was great.
Yeah, she was short.
Yeah.
And that worked so well because we had one scene where she's pointing her finger at
course.
the person playing Gladius, who is
6'4". Yeah.
and she must have been 5'2".
Something like that. Yeah.
yeah, she was
But
about
just,
my height.
just the way she pointed her
Finger.
finger, and it made this guy melt.
Oh, yeah.
because, he's just like, what?
Yeah.
It fits so perfectly.
course.
But she's a strong character. She's got a lot of motivation.
Absolutely.
She always wants to be on top, and she wants to make sure that Gladius and her are going to get on top.
Yeah.
So that's how I would sum up Rachel.
Yeah. Can we play the theme song?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay.
I wish I could describe the music video, because that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, to go into a little bit of how we did the composition, the characters that were connected in this have very similar themes, or their themes kind of intertwine with the characters that they're with. So we played. Did we play Gladius's theme last time? I think we did.
I don't think we did.
I don't
no,
remember.
I don't know. I don't think so.
And
I know we did play Veronica's because that was one of my favorites. So and Slade's. I think those
Yeah,
are
we
the
did do
two, and then
Slade's,
the intro.
Yeah.
I think that's all we played.
I can't remember.
And
I'll help
one
you,
thing
Winey.
that I love that we were doing is, it's not straight across the board. The beginning
Right.
is never like the end.
No.
And the middle is like neither.
Right.
But I always described it as it's that slow hook.
Right.
Every single
Right.
song has that slow hook where
Right.
it starts off kind of slow, and you're
Yeah.
like, this is gonna, and then it switches,
Yeah.
and it just grabs you.
Yeah.
And that's what I love, because this is the origin of that slow hook.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because as I described, I'll describe just a small amount,
Okay, yeah.
where in my head I had this music video, this song playing, and there's these feather fans,
Yeah.
and you can only see the face a little bit, but then all of a sudden that slow hook drops and then boom,
Yeah.
and then the feathers just drop. She comes off the stage and she's
Yeah.
pulling up and she's pulling off her garter belt. She's
Yeah.
letting her hair down.
Uh-huh.
She's stealing shots off the bar.
Oh, yeah.
She slaps and just then at the very end
Uh-huh.
when she puts her boot up on the table,
Yeah.
she strikes that match and has that lawn stem. But
Yeah.
you can hear all
Yes.
of that, like in the music.
Look at that. Look at that. Chills. Chills.
Yeah, like it fits. I'll let you play. I can go.
No,
on.
I love the way you described this because it was so much fun when we were doing some table reads and stuff like that in the studio here. And you're like, and this is Rachel's theme to kind of give everybody a taste of it. And you described it very similar as you did before we played it. And like everybody, like I said, it was electrifying in the studio here as we were doing the table reads and we're talking about different things. And it was so cool to see the interactions between people going, fuck, you guys have been busy.
Yep.
So,
A lot of laid out.
oh yeah.
1, 2 o'clock just to get up
Yeah.
at 5 o'clock in the morning and to go
Right.
to work.
Right.
That was a constant thing.
All the time.
We were here 24 almost. It
Yeah.
just-
Yeah.
It felt like at times.
Well, here is the theme, so I won't keep our listening audience savulating anymore. But here we go. Check this out. This is Rachel's theme, and this is really fun. That's so
Wow.
freaking cool.
It's,
man.
after 5 years, it's still great.
Right.
Yeah.
And two things. First off, didn't you help contribute to the very beginning of that song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
So some of those.
That-
That's all Tony.
Yep, that was too. I picked that up right away. I was like, yeah, remember that.
Yeah, that was fun.
Got a
But-
couple people joining in. Sasha says, hello, beautiful people. And Cindy said, nice. And Adam said, there's no picture. Said, only for the song. Only for the song. He said, okay, gotcha. So, yeah. But yeah, that was Rachel's theme. And just, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Still so good.
I like doing. I love doing it, and
Yeah.
we put so much attention just into the song. Just imagine when it's actually produced, because I don't want to just.
Right.
Well, and I think you guys said that on the podcast last week, where it's not most of the time when you have a steampunk story,
Yeah.
because it's a steampunk Western drama.
Right.
But a lot of times, what they'll do is, hey, here's the steampunk, and
Right,
here's this
right.
really crappy story. It's very loosely tied. And I decided, hey, here's the story.
Right.
It could fit in modern times, but I put it in, a steampunk setting.
Well, and that was one of the reasons why I think we all really gravitated towards the project, because you were like, look, here's the story. Here's these characters that are motivated by real life situations.
Mhm.
Here's a little bit of steampunk.
Yeah.
and it was like, this is kick ass.
And it had to be steampunk because I wanted a steampunk motorcycle.
How could you not?
Right.
Which you still have. We talked
I
a little bit
still
about
have-
that.
Yes.
I still have it. Needs a little bit of work. You know, it slightly damaged during the move,
Right.
but nothing hot glue can't fix. It's a prop.
It's a prop.
It's a working
Right.
prop.
Right.
But I love that bike. If I could get it really running, you
Yeah.
know, that'd be awesome. I'd be the talk of the town.
But yeah, I mean, that was, you know, in all the projects that we've worked on, even like Zombie B Team, which was
Yes.
so funny because
So fun.
it was the story part of it that you're like, okay, in the oddest places, I could see this legitimately being a story and going, oh dear God, it's like Shaun of the Dead all over again.
Right? It's So you bring that up, not to jump ship, but
No, I'm just
Zombie B Team came about where it was just like 5 years ago, zombies are the craze. Why not create some kind of zombie comedy?
of course.
So I was like, okay, well, Zombie B Team, and then well, that doesn't make any sense.
Of course it doesn't.
These are the people you don't want on your
Right.
team at
So
all.
and
But that's all you
developed-
have to survive.
Yep,
Is
and I
that
developed,
team.
the characters. They're the main character, and well, he's in the situation full of these other people you wouldn't want on your team.
No.
But it was filmed almost like a mockumentary, which made it even better.
It's so fun.
Oh,
We have that up, I believe. I think we have that up somewhere. Oh, I have
Do
to
we?
do some digging on that. Yeah, I think
I've
I
got
might
a
have.
copy of it here.
Yeah.
the
it's
best
good
thing about
stuff.
Zombie B Team, it was an unscripted show. It
was.
was because we had talented actors and actresses where
Yeah.
it was like, hey,
Right.
here's this situation. This is what your character is. Act it out. And it just over the top all the way around.
That was great.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
I think some of the funniest outtakes was God's watching you.
Yep. Yep. Oh man.
Good
Yeah.
stuff.
That was great.
We used to have like so much fun just getting that together and getting everybody together. It was just like a family, and everybody was, when they could make it.
Yeah.
Everybody has a schedule and everything. But man, we're definitely looking forward to starting this project and getting it pumped back
So much
alive,
fun. Yeah, well, and I
Learn
mean,
it.
that's the thing is, I look at some of the stuff that we just riffed off when we were so beyond exhausted 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait a minute, I got another idea. Notes!
Yep,
And then we'd write
notes.
something down, and then we revisit it a couple weeks later, and it's like, what was that idea? And that would spur something on for one of the scenes that we'd be working out in, like, season 2 or season 3 or something along those lines. Or we would be going off on our adventures.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, we just drove by this old barn house, and here's the name of one character that we're going to be working on in season 4.
Right.
And it's like, wait, what? Hold
Speaking-
on.
Speaking of notes, I want you to know I still have my secretary,
Mug.
world's greatest secretary mug with all of my pens in it. Just letting you know that.
I
Oh,
was
so
hoping you kept it.
Yeah.
I did. I did.
No, yeah, we did have those. First let's talk about Cogworks for a second, and then,
Yeah.
then we'll talk about the late night, other stuff that popped into our heads.
Good
But
Lord.
with Cogworks, we have season 1 scripted,
Yeah.
and looking back at it, it's like this needs a little bit of touch up.
Of course it does.
But we have season 1 scripted, but up to season 6 planned. We
Right.
know where the story's going.
Well,
And
and
that's
we've got outlines and notebooks. I mean, the composition books that we sat down for hours and months and just outlining stuff out. It's like, oh, this can interact with this. And as we wrote out and outlined all the way out to season 6, it's like, yes, this is the cliffhanger for season 2, or this is the cliffhanger for.
and that's we were just throwing out
Yeah.
dots everywhere, and
Yeah.
then finally, when we were not tired,
Yeah,
it was our job to connect those dots,
of course.
and that worked perfectly.
What
I
are you doing?
see a line there.
Oh,
Oh.
jeez.
It's all right. It happens. We're not gonna lynch you today. It's
Oh,
all
yeah.
right. Not yet.
Maybe.
Just kidding.
But
Yeah.
a random, another late night, because it wasn't always Cogworks. It was started off Cogworks, and
Right.
then we'd go on. Like, remember the superhero show we were gonna do
Yes.
with Brett the LARPer?
Yes.
He was supposed to make a reoccurring appearance because he was going to be like, Frank, the reoccurring character that was, what was it? Was it Sam Jackson's character in Quentin Tarantino movies or whatever?
No, Brett the LARPer was. He was, he did. Nobody knew how he made his money.
Right.
And he had a YouTube channel that was Sock Puppet Opera.
Yeah.
So
Someone's so angry making money out of
yes,
it. Such good stuff. Oh
but
my gosh.
yeah, it was everything. Just so many ideas came from those late night sessions. And Cogworks, like I said, planning out to season 6, it was
Right.
we took history, we found where it diverges. Lincoln did not get assassinated. Boom, that's our point where everything changes.
Right.
And how would that affect this, and this?
Well, and I mean, when you were constructing the world, and I'm not trying to give too much away, but you said, the Wild West is where the steampunk element came into play because the East Coast was diesel punk.
Yes.
So you had these worlds, and it went back to the old adage, War of the Coasts, so to speak, East Coast, West Coast rivalry. But yet, each one had a very unique kind of environment of how they thrived on stuff, which was so cool. And so many characters came out of those types of things.
Yes. And that's, the main thing was Slade, our Crimson Slade. He's our main bad guy.
Yeah.
And just the way he talks.
Oh, God.
And how Brian got everything perfect.
The articulation was insane.
He worked on it.
Yeah.
He worked on making this character evil.
Right.
And that's what really sold the character. But
Right.
In this fantasy setting, he owns the coal mine. So that's how come, East Coast was diesel punk.
Right.
West Coast was still steampunk. He wanted that control.
Right.
So he's going to keep diesel punk as far, any form of gasoline, oil, anything. He wants to keep that away because his money is in coal.
Right. Well, and that was one of the things that we did for the Ren Fair. What was it, the first or second year we were out there? We had our cast in character.
Yes.
And Brian was walking around with these little bags with
Bags of coal
with like the little crimson canary.
Yep, Crimson Canary coal. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, God.
And he was getting $1 for those.
Yep.
It was so great.
And he hated himself after. I
He
remember,
did.
but he walked up. He just flat out gave this kid one of the bags.
Yeah.
And when everybody was walking away, he stops the dad with his cane. And he's like, "That's $1." And the guy paid him, and he's like, "I hate myself for this," but
It was so funny.
but it sold that character.
Oh,
did.
God, it was great.
And he still is on one of the main photos for the
Yep.
Renaissance Festival for that weekend.
Yeah.
They keep on putting him up there, which is really cool. It was a lot of fun. We just were able to go do those events. We were able to go get pictures taken, all kinds of different stuff. And if you guys look at the Facebook page, those pictures are all still up there.
Yeah, it's
So-
and it says 5 years, and it's never died. It's just been on hold.
Right.
Life happens; it takes you in different directions.
Well, and we've all worked on tons of different projects since then. It's not that we've stopped, dreaming and scripting and stuff and connecting the dots, as you said earlier. But we've done so many projects, and with creative people, sometimes it's really hard to get the one project that you really want off the ground because you have all these other projects that are kind of, you're diversifying your assets, if you will, to go, oh, okay, here's one more piece for the project that I need to get this. Oh, here's another project. Oh, here's one more piece. So that way, when all the pieces are together, it's like, oh.
Well, and I remember telling you, I wanted Cogworks was my big project.
Right.
But all of the other little projects, I needed to establish some kind of foothold because
Of course.
I had been planning, a modern day retelling of Robin Hood.
Yes. Oh, God.
That was what everything was for. I had this one scene that started it all, And then I developed this whole story of modern day Robin Hood based off of this one scene.
Absolutely.
But the problem is it needed some form of establishment. You needed to have a name.
Yeah.
So people would, oh, hey, I'll definitely pitch into that.
Right.
As far as talent is concerned or
Absolutely.
anything like that. But I had a lot of good ideas for, modern retelling of Robin Hood.
Absolutely.
And those aren't dead. Those are still there. Sometimes it takes a while to get this stuff off the ground. And I'm glad. It's awesome to see like the old videos where you'd be like, hey guys,
Yep.
Whatever it was that you're doing, just turn around and you're in front of the camera. Oh, hey, I didn't see you guys there.
We watched the
Good
one
stuff.
where you're like just smashing a cheeseburger or something like that.
Oh, good times.
And this was after we had done a night of shooting. And you're like, oh, hey, sorry, I didn't recognize you there. And you like shove the rest of the burger in your mouth.
Oh my God. Oh, back in my thin days.
Oh, it was great. But no, it was, and we always did those Cogworks updates after we had done shooting because we had already had the green screen stuff set up and trying to get some of the special effects and stuff down, which I'm way better at now.
I mean, that's the thing too. You learn with time, and one of the things too that I remember from the project, not only was it that we were able to go out to the Renaissance Festival, but we also did an interview too at the local radio station.
Yeah.
And we were able to hold casting calls, which was really a big deal.
That was fun.
It was a lot of fun, and it was cool because Brian was so humbling about this. He's like, if somebody wants to try out for Slade, like I would understand, and people did read for it, but
Right.
And we did give other people chances to try out for it, but it's just like when you knew, you just knew.
And that's the thing. Like, if somebody came along that was better, we didn't have a choice.
Right.
But he developed that character like no other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Brian was able to take direction.
Yeah.
He was able to just be like, okay, what do you need me to do?
Right.
And then he'd be like, I got this idea. I just want to throw it past. He was very humble about the whole experience, and he was directable.
Yeah.
That makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Well, and I remember we were shooting the one scene in the garage, and it was great because you're like, no, stand here. And then, bring your cane up. And the cane, every time I close my door and I see the cane, I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah.
But just the way that he did it, and this is before we had the mask, he was just using like a scarf or something like that.
Yep.
And it was like, yes, this is so intense. Just like you could see him only being that character. And it was just so cool.
And
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and then, it was a scarf and a trench coat.
Yeah.
And then when we got the mask, we got a thicker trench coat.
Yeah.
And he would always just sweat buckets.
Buckets.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
But he always did it.
Yeah.
Without failure, without question.
It was great.
And he was always there too. Every time that we were filming, he made sure that he was there.
Yep.
Yes.
He was always one of the dependable ones. And we say was because he's now out of state. He lives out of state, which doesn't mean that he wouldn't come back for this character.
He's out of state for now. But
Yeah.
as soon as this actually kicks off and we can actually pitch a tent in the backyard so he can stay for, but then he gets famous and then
and then we can
then he
pitch
gives us
tents.
tents. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so he is one of my favorite characters out of it. You love to hate him. There are some really incredible scenes with him and with Princess and the goons.
Yeah, and that's what I love. You hate Slade in season 1. And then, season 2, we throw that big twist.
Yep.
And it's just like, I hate everything now. We try to make you hate yourself.
Right.
But it's like, it fits, but I'm not going to give it all away.
No.
But
you
it
can't.
just the way everything just flows. There was a natural flow to it all.
Well, and creating the drama because of the story being so rich, you didn't have to force it. It just literally came pouring out. Because I remember we were sitting there brainstorming, and Brian's like, Slade wouldn't do that, but he would do this. And then, boom, the rest of us were we had the next 10 pages written.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, it it was a lot of fun being able to do that and to kind of all be together working on it. I mean, it came from your brain, and then we're all just like, what about this? And it was great because one of my favorite things working with you is you're like, well, I see it this way, and the rest were like, okay, yeah, that makes sense, no big deal. But we'd have ideas, and it wasn't like you were against ever hearing them or
Right.
which I really love. That's one thing that is really hard when you work with somebody sometimes, especially in theater or in directing or anything like that. So it was really cool because not only were we working together in ideas and still being civil and a family,
Yeah.
it was just we brought more people in as they came in, and it's really fun.
And one thing I tried to do is explain, like I was always open to ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always. And if, I ever turned down an idea, I would always explain, well, this is how come it has to be this way.
Right.
Is because this is going to happen next.
Right.
It makes no sense here until this happens, and then that's the flow. But I was never like, nope, nope. This is me.
You were never like, yeah, that's crap. You're gonna have to leave now.
Yeah.
No, you were never like that.
Well, and that was the catalyst to some of the best scenes that were written as we were brainstorming. So like, what about this with your idea and tweaking it just a little bit? And then, like I said, the room would just light up and we'd start writing page after page after page of getting, so much good stuff. And even doing the end of the season spoilers into the first one, it's like, oh, that is so good.
Well, because something happens in the first episode,
Yeah.
and I don't know what happened. I looked at our character that was playing Sarah, and I was like, I got it.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a Marvel after credit scene, and she's like, okay, and then I just explained it.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Oh my god!" Just and that was the effect of it. It was constantly, "Hey, I've got this idea."
Yeah.
And it was never dull. It was never,
No.
"Oh, okay, that's a good." It was always like,
Yes.
"More. I need more."
Yes.
Yeah, and I love it.
Well,
Do you want to play another?
do we want to play another one?
Do you want to play another?
Let's play them all.
Right.
I'll set up. Which
Yeah,
character we doing?
set up. Let's go.
What-
Was it Gladius and Rachel are kind of
Yeah, yeah,
together?
yeah.
Yep.
So maybe put those together.
Okay.
Or
We'll do
Yeah.
We'll
Gladius.
take your direction. You're the
Okay,
director.
So we'll
Yeah.
do Gladius.
All right.
So
You want to
Gladius.
set it up?
Okay, so Gladius is a gladiator for these steampunk arena, and it's something I never didn't pick up on anything, but just think WWE
Right.
meets American Gladiator,
Right.
all steampunk setting.
Hell yeah.
So I was just like, oh, he's got to be this big bulky guy, but not like your modern day wrestlers where
Right.
it's just this huge beefcake. Because back then
Right.
strong men were not. They weren't the beefy. They didn't have the
Right.
six pack. And the person that we had playing Gladius, or hopefully still,
Right.
he fit it perfect.
Of course he did. And now he's got that glorious beard,
And there we go.
aka Vanilla Gorilla.
But no, he fit very well. So
Yeah.
so he plays in these gladiator games.
Right.
And he is a love interest of Rachel,
Right.
but it never happens right away. They both deny
Of course.
until in the end, which always happens.
Yeah.
You have to include it. You have to have that tension there. But I love him and Rachel work really well together. However, him and Princess work even better
Yeah.
because it's more comedic.
Yes.
Such
good stuff.
the love letters out the window,
Yeah.
getting stabbed with a fork, all of this stuff. To see
You
this
gotta see
child
this.
doing, yeah,
We gotta have this happen.
Even
Yeah.
the photo shoots that we were doing, which was so great because Maddie was doing the sit-in princess,
Mhm.
and then you've got Keith, who was 6'19", and it was great because there was a picture that she was just sitting there all smug, and he's going,
yes. But so Gladius, and I know some of these names are not very original,
Right.
It's just a work in progress, so nobody hold that against me.
Yeah, but I thought it was a great name because keep it simple, stupid.
Right, and that's the thing. That's not his name. That's just the name he goes by. Just
Yeah.
like every wrestler has a pseudonym that they
Right.
go.
Stage name.
Yes. But anyways, Gladius is this big, beefy guy. He never loses in the arena. That's how come, and Rachel has it that way. She
Of course.
purposely picks the fights
course.
that knows he's going to win. And he is kind of charged throughout the, season 1
Right.
to kind of protect Princess. Where we get our comedic antics from. But yeah, he's a man of few words. But his favorite words are, you ready for this? Nap time.
Yes.
So just and it's a little bit of backstory about that is we were trying to do some teaser promo material for each character,
Right.
and we had Tony as a stand-in as a drunk
Yes.
who kind of in this scene bumped into Gladius, knocked over his beer, and Gladius just kind of hands him a coat, and while Tony's looking at the coat, he looks up, and Gladius just goes, "Nap time," and it was just
It's so good.
hilarious.
There is video evidence of this as well.
Yes.
There was
is.
an outtake, and the green screen was right there, straight on.
Love it. So, but that's Gladius. Gladius, and his music right now, and really quick, I would on the way from my house to Tony's, I would be listening to Spotify or something like
Right.
that, and I just have all these songs, and I would just hear this one song, and I'd just be like, "Oh, this kind of fits this character." Not the whole song, but just the intro for this.
Right.
And I would, by the time I'd get into Tony's, he'd be playing on his guitar, doing something, and I'd just like, "Stop, we're doing this. This is what I was thinking." He's like, "But I wanted to show you this." No, before I forget. So Gladius is, it was a combination of 2 songs
Yeah.
that I had heard, and the end result sounds nothing like those songs.
Of course.
But they were the catalyst. I was like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah.
And I just love the piano. This is the one with the piano.
I can't remember if it is or not.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's got that dun dun dun.
No, that's Veronica's one.
No. That's the boom. Oh, that is.
Yeah.
No. I'm pretty sure.
I
this
think
one
it's
has-
Slade's got the.
Slade does have it. Well,
have to
we're gonna
listen.
find out.
We're gonna play Gladius.
It's
Here we
been
go.
5 years, people.
Here you
So-
go. Here's Gladius's theme.
I love that.
So, if anybody is, savvy, listening really well, you can hear how those two songs connect.
Right.
And that's what I love is, they're great songs standalone, but when you start connecting the dots to see who's connected.
It's those little interwoven themes, like at the end of that.
Yep.
Which is right there with Rachel's theme.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny because as we were composing Rachel's theme, you're like, just kind of make it like gypsy sounding.
Yes.
And I went, okay, I think I got something.
Yeah, it was really good. Still, even after 5 years.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
so-
good.
Yeah.
It just feels good to talk about
Yeah.
Cogworks and,
Well, what was it? God, I think it was like 2-3 years ago. We were doing something in the studio here. And I'm like, hey, you want to listen to some stuff for some old time's sake? And we pulled it up, and it was great because we're halfway through listening to all the theme songs. And I'm like, you know what? I don't hate this. It still sticks, and it sounds incredible. And you're like, that's because it's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and you weren't being arrogant, but you were just being on point with, yeah, we did this right.
Mm-hmm. And it's because we did take time.
Right.
We did, and you came up with some amazing things. And I felt bad when I would have to be like, I like it all.
Right.
But this right here, this
Right.
tiny little bit is what I want to expand. That's perfect.
Right.
Because you'd pick up a guitar and just, and I'd just be like, hey, that's perfect. And it's like that's the end of the song. Be like, yeah, that only I want 5 minutes of that. And you're like, yeah, okay.
you'd be like, I think he's ready just to be done with me. I think.
But that was some of the best parts because, like you both said, you don't instrument, but still having to create something musical out of somebody that doesn't instrument. It was such a challenge, and I'm like, fuck it, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to prove to myself that I can go through and take something that is just you can't figure out how you make sound effects, you do all this weird kind of shit, and you're still kind of scratching your head going, I'm not following you, man. Show me oh, that's right, you can't show me on the guitar. Okay, how about this? And you're like, nope. What about this note? Yeah, that one.
And that's a lot of what it was. Is
Right.
I don't know how to play guitar.
Right.
But you always had a guitar in your hand. And just there were times where we were not working on Cogworks or anything
No.
related. So do I need to worry? Is
No.
that-
No,
you're
you're
good.
good. It's just
Okay,
the
do we
cameras.
need to get to the
Oh,
safe
there we are.
house? Okay.
Nope.
But no, you'd just be playing something just for the fun of it, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
play
What is
that
that?
again, and be like, oh yeah, this, I kind of came up with this like 10 years ago, and I just kind of play it when I'm bored. Like, let's not get bored anymore. Let's go, kind of tweak this, and
That's how we came up with James's theme.
Mhm.
Because I was going through some old projects, and you're like, dig stuff up. I don't care what it is. Just dig it up, something that you haven't completed, and let's go into it. So I took that on an acoustic, and then I was playing that back, and you're like, yes, but it's going this direction. And I'm like, okay.
so
One of my favorite. He's one of my favorite characters too. It was really hard, like a toss up between him and Veronica's themes,
Mhm.
because those are two of my favorite ones. But I really like his a lot too, and the way that you have him set up, and the guy who played him when we were filming
Yes.
did a great job as well.
Doc.
he took direction very well too.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, this plays in my head all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's reruns all the time. I see the scene as if it was being shot,
Absolutely.
and he did very well when I would be like, "Hey, do it this way just a little bit,"
right.
and he was not afraid to just do it a little bit, or if I said be over the top, he would be over the top.
Right.
He took direction very well, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But if you want to talk about James, we can set that
Yeah,
up.
set it
where-
up, man.
So James is kind of
But
the
don't give
focal
away
point.
any more love interest things. We gotta save the juicy tidbits for when we film.
The juicy one.
You're right.
Okay. So James is our bad boy. You know, he's our outlaw. He is kind of our reformed. Basically, he walked away from the life of crime, and he wanted to start a bar. You know, he wanted the straight and narrow.
Yeah.
And when he comes back into town, Slade's like, "Guess what? You work for me." It's like, "But I do." And Slade's like, "But you do." You know, but and all that is in season or in episode 1. So
Yeah.
there's not a huge spoiler there.
No.
So he is forced to do things that he didn't want to do anymore.
Right.
And James is a very unique character in the fact that he wants to be good.
Yeah.
He just wants to make a living, but in a Wild West setting, you know, which sometimes you have to get your hands dirty, but not necessarily in a non-law abiding way.
Right.
So after certain things happen, you know, he finally works for Slade,
Right.
but then doesn't. So, you know, it's just that
It's kind of a zero fucks given moment.
yes, but he is, you know, kind of like a playboy a little bit,
Right. Right.
and definitely like the character.
Of course.
One thing that I loved, you know, that I had to add for Doc's character is, you know, I was like, hey, 2 holsters, but put them on the same side.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because that just looked, you know, when you're doing, you know, rather than from the side, it just gave him that. But of course, everybody's drawn to his motorcycle.
Of course.
You know, so
The steam horse.
Yep, and it's wonderful. But his theme really does define that character.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, there is a slow hook.
Yep.
But it's not like the other slow hooks.
No.
It tells you exactly who this character is.
It's definitely got that outlaw vibe to it.
Yes, but James, he'll do what needs to be done,
Of course.
but he's going to do it his way,
Of course.
and that's what makes James very unique.
All right. So let's set this up. This is, what was the character's name again? James?
James. Okay, again, you ready? You know, subject to change, but it's James Jesse.
Yeah.
So you know, because James, you know, James. So copyright. So, anyways.
All right. Here we go. Here's the theme. Heck yeah.
For those of you that are just tuning in, we were talking with Leon Kratz he's the creator of Cogworks Slums and one of our very dear friends, and we consider family.
Yeah,
We're so glad to
absolutely.
have you back in the studio. And that was James Jesse's theme.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the characters from Cogworks Slums. How many characters are there altogether?
There was like 10, wasn't there?
Okay, so we have
Slade.
Slade, James, Sarah, Veronica, Rachel, Gladius, that we did songs for. JoJo.
Just in general, we did. These are songs too, but we also have other characters.
Frank.
Frank, he's the cameo. Those are the main, the two goons.
Right. Princess.
Yep, Princess.
Mayor.
The mayor. The
There's a
person who
lot.
owned the arena.
Yep.
Yeah. And
you know,
extras for the arena.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all in all. We're looking at 11 main characters.
Right.
And again, the problem is you need one character or two that you're following throughout the whole thing. Otherwise, you get lost in the sauce.
Right.
But you have to make each character unique and different, and you have to give them a backstory.
Of course.
They can't be in there just for filler, and that's the thing. For every single one of these characters, they have a
much
backstory.
Mm-hmm.
So
You know?
much backstory.
Well, just like so, James, we just listened to his song. Part of his backstory is him and Veronica. Veronica is the sky marshal. She works for the law.
Yeah.
She pilots a Zeppelin type. Because it's steampunk.
Of course.
And then you have James Jesse,
Yep.
who is the outlaw, but they're old childhood friends.
Of course.
Their paths diverged. One went into law, the other went into crime. But now that he's on the straight and narrow, back in time, she has a job to do.
Right.
She's
Regardless.
she's gonna keep her eye on him, because she has to.
Of course.
If he acts up, then and that of course creates some tension.
Mm-hmm.
I love that scene, and I'm not going to describe it.
Yeah, I
but
was like, don't give it away.
But just the scene between James and Slade.
Okay.
About the whole "you work for me" thing, which was
Yeah.
just great.
First episode.
First episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was great.
You get introduced to a lot of characters within the first episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, the only one that you don't. Nope. Frank is in the first one.
Frank is in the first one.
Yep.
I think you don't. I
actually-
don't think you meet Big Mama yet either.
You don't meet Big Mama. You don't meet JoJo.
Oh,
Yep.
that's true. That's
And
true.
we don't get to meet who's going to be. You don't get to meet our Scarlet Letter.
That's true.
Who's gonna be in there
Ooh,
later.
Yeah, I forgot
Yeah.
about that one.
There's so many twists and turns, and I like it because it's not predictable.
Right.
That's what I like. A lot of the shows that we see now are very. There's a lot of stuff that's predictable. Wait, I'm giving you the look because
You're giving me the look.
last
and-
week he
No,
recommended
see-
something to me.
See, here's
and
the thing: is you can't shit the bed on just one episode. You have to watch the whole season because I can guarantee.
We'll see. It's not me.
Anyways, we got stuff going on in chat.
all right, what you got?
Candy Ray chimes in and says, "Ooh, I like that theme song. That was Rachel's actually." And then she's like, "James, or maybe it was Gladys. I don't know. James's theme is her favorite so far."
Oh.
See, yeah,
So, yeah.
Team
Okay.
James,
Really?
Team James. Well, us females
Team
are gonna
Slade,
go like
man.
that.
I'm just saying.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
and that's
you
the
know.
thing. That's
Maybe.
when we really get to hear your guitar skills is in
Yeah.
Slade's. Because oh my goodness, like it doesn't even sound like a guitar. That's the amazing part.
That is true.
Not funny, man.
Well, it's going to be a lot funnier when people actually get to listen to it. So.
Oh, we played.
We did
Slade's
play that
theme
one last
week.
week on the
Excellent.
show. So if you
Oh,
guys
God.
missed that, you can go back and listen to his. He's the villain, one of the favorites. Love to hate him.
Love to hate
Yep.
him.
Love him in real life because he's just a great
He's one of
wholesome
the
guy.
sweetest guys you will ever meet.
Yes.
And yet
Horrible,
he
though.
plays such a horrible person.
He does. There was a point when I was just like, oh, man, Brian, dang it, you're so good. I don't even like you right now, but I love you.
Yeah.
But I don't like you.
You still wanted to take him out, give him a juice box,
Push him
on
on
a
a
swing.
Speaking of that, well, he was here during Christmas. Was it Christmas time?
yeah.
I walked in and I gave him the little hug jugs for Christmas. That was his present for
Oh.
old time's sake.
I
good
felt bad that I wasn't
stuff.
able to come up. I was let me see. I was still working down at my old job.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. Yeah. So I didn't get a chance to come up and visit, but I'm going to make time next time.
Yeah, we had him on the show. It was great. We reminisce. He actually did
Yeah.
one of the old radio announcer intros.
He did.
For our show. It was
It
great.
was so good. It was good. It was so awesome to see him, and just to reminisce on that, and we went back to that because that's really when we started forming our friendship with him.
Right.
I don't know if he had known you before then or not, but it's just like we became a family, and it was hard when he moved.
Oh, it was.
But,
Well, and I mean, look at all the hours of doing tabletop stuff that we have played.
yeah.
And creating characters inside of those, games and stuff, whether it was D&D or whether we're doing the superheroes thing or, what was it? God, the Wild West one that we did.
Flood Ties.
Flood Tides.
It was
That's what it
water
Flood
world.
Tides.
Yeah,
Oh.
it was Steampunk Waterworld.
Yeah.
Very good game.
Love that.
Flood Tides. We got to bring that back, man.
I'm definitely down for it.
Yeah.
Oh, Candy chimes in and says, I have a thing for bad boys. Then you're going to love James.
Yes.
Telling you, Team James, sister.
Yep.
You'll love him. What was one of the other? Did we want to go through one more song? Maybe we got a little bit of
I
time
think we
here.
got a little bit of time left.
If you want to,
We can go through them all if we want to do a Spitfire.
we could.
I'm
You
just-
guys are loving this. I hope.
I think they're
It sounds
loving
like
this,
they're
yeah.
loving it.
Everybody's loving the themes, so.
Okay.
So good.
I can talk fast, keep my mouth shut. Okay, so if we're talking about, we got it with James Jesse, and then all of a sudden his son, and then he's the bad boy, and then we're talking about Veronica. So then we got Veronica who's the Sky Marshal. She's the law. She has a very interesting backstory.
I love
where,
hers.
Okay, yes. So, okay, I'll slow down.
We have time for about two more.
Okay, so
but before we get into that though, really quick, I was just thinking about it because we are looking at bringing this back to life. Shock starting its
Yep.
heart. We might possibly need to have some new cast, right?
Yeah.
yes, I was gonna touch on that.
Okay.
We do some of our actors and actresses moved.
Yeah.
And that's fine. You got to do what you got to
Like
do.
yeah, 5 years, life is
Right.
life.
You
yeah.
can't hold on to a dream. That's not. But so we will be once we touch up. We modernize a little bit the script. I would like to get a casting call, and all of the roles are on the table.
Yeah.
We just need people to come out, read, and one thing we did at our last casting call is there were a couple of good actors and actresses that didn't fit any of the roles we had.
Yeah.
So I wrote them roles.
Yeah. Yep.
Was that the Victor Sedlow part that we wrote in?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was great.
And there was originally when we were doing this,
Yeah.
Sarah was not a part of
No.
the script at all.
No, she wasn't.
There was no Sarah. Not like somebody came in, screened, and then off.
Yeah.
There was no Sarah.
Yeah.
And then after this person kind of auditioned and everything, I was like, yeah, we need to give her a part. What could we? Let's create this kind of dynamic right
Yeah.
here. And we retouched the script, and we did. We gave Sarah a much bigger role, and then it evolved.
Oh, yeah.
And then, we spanned her out to season, 5 and 6, and like seeing how this character developed, because all of the characters develop.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to give a lot away, but
Can we
in
play
our-
hers?
Sarah's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
So,
love hers.
I have to bring up so for Sarah's, I got the idea. I was like, Tony, she's our wild card.
Yeah.
So her theme doesn't have to sound exactly like all of the others.
Yeah.
Tony, make it sound like it's underwater. And I'll never forget. He's like, okay, I'll do what I can.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, just if you got a whammy, if you got to do what, but kind of this wavy sound.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, and as I heard it, all you played was what must have been 10 or 15 seconds.
Yeah.
I jump up, I start pacing,
yeah.
Yeah.
and
Yep.
I'm creating a music video for it already.
Exactly. Yeah.
Throughout this whole
It was
thing.
so great.
To touch on the music video a little bit that I'd like to do.
Yeah.
She's got this powder keg under her arm, it's open. She's walking across the town.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, she lights that match, sets it on fire, and this trail, all
Yeah.
through the town
Yeah.
until it goes back to, the point of, and you see her with her boot up on the keg, and it just fizzles out, and you're just like, oh, that's the type of character, and that describes the character
Yeah.
in a nutshell.
Yeah.
She's controlled chaos.
Yeah.
So
Such a cool character, though.
Yep.
God. All right. So this is Sarah's theme.
Maybe.
What the hell's going on here?
it's got the slowest open ever.
It does.
No. Hold on. Let's do this.
Wait for it.
Wait for it. All right.
Go to the concessions, get your popcorn, take a break,
Right.
get your drink.
All right. So let me do this. I'm going to actually open this up and put it in here for this track. Just give me a second while I go find it. Here we go. Do. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, we can hum it. No, so I can kind of explain some of so we explained Veronica. Well, her backstory is her father was a general in the military, ended up having 2 daughters,
Yep.
and the mother, or his wife, died during giving birth to the second one, and didn't know how to raise any girls because, he's that manly man. So he raised his oldest daughter like a son.
Yeah.
And the youngest daughter sent with an aunt. And then, of course, when he passed away, and then we get introduced to JoJo later on in the season.
Yeah.
It's night and day between these sisters,
Right.
and that's another great dynamic that plays itself into other seasons too.
Oh God, it's so much fun. All right, so this is Sarah's theme.
Okay.
What the hell?
Oh man, we're
So
really
beautiful.
Damn it. There we go. All right, start it back over. There we go. Such a cool theme.
Yeah, and so I have a personal request.
okay.
So you said you played Slade's and did Veronica's.
Yeah.
And if we play any more, there's 2 more that kind of go together.
Okay.
But I think JoJo's would be a good
Oh,
theme.
jeez.
But but that's because you get to hear Heather and I.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
In the beginning, and that was a fun night, And I think
was
some
a
of
fun
some of the
night.
takes we did had the kids in it too.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's
Yep.
a lot of that.
Yep.
So am I playing JoJo's theme?
I would like to play JoJo's.
Oh,
and,
JoJo.
and if you want a quick snippet of Frank's, because they tie very
They
well
do
together.
tie together.
So,
Frank is such a fun character too.
but so really quick,
God.
JoJo is the trouble child who's now living with her sister Veronica, the Sky Marshal.
Yeah.
And this fits, again, I have a music video all set up where
course.
it starts off really slow, because her aunt was very religious and took the Bible thumping to heart and used to hit her with the Bible.
Yeah.
Until,
Yeah.
so, but she likes, she likes to wear pants. She likes to go hang out in the bars and play cards and smoke.
Right.
But she's all of it. She's underage.
Of course.
So, yeah. So this theme fits JoJo very well. But the beginning is beautiful. I
Oh,
just love.
God.
I love the beginning.
Not my favorite.
This was
you know.
painful to record. I'm
Yeah,
just saying.
it was, but it was still very enjoyable.
It was. And that's the way that you painted the whole scene for introducing JoJo.
Mhm.
I was like, okay, I get it. It doesn't hurt as much, but it still hurts.
Right? Walks up to the church and
Yeah.
there's the pastor playing the guitar and then
And
the tambourine and
JoJo was another written in, wasn't
Yep,
she?
yep.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
was not in the original anything, and it was like, let's do this.
All right.
I don't know either.
Here's the theme.
Wholesomely bad.
Oh,
Yes. Yep.
That gives you an idea about that character.
Oh, yeah.
And it really does. It's the way it starts, from the way that it turns to the way that it ends.
Yeah.
That's JoJo in a nutshell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it was so much fun going back to the photo shoot of when we were doing it, the photo shoot with the two Emilys,
Mm-hmm.
which was so great because you see them and they acted like sisters on set,
Yes.
which was so much fun. We're like, yep, that's a thing now.
Yep. They brought life into those characters and they gave it their everything.
Yep.
So yeah.
So much fun.
And then the next one before we close out is
Mhm.
Frank's theme.
This is
The
Frank's theme.
cameo.
Do I
So-
have Frank's theme on here?
I hope so.
I don't know if I have
Possibly. I'm gonna go to YouTube here really quick. Shelby is tuning in and says hi. So, just hey
Well,
Shelby. Thanks
how
for
about-
joining.
Hello.
How about we just close it out with Veronica's theme because Leon's been itching to hear that one.
Okay. Okay with that.
So that's JoJo's sister.
Yeah.
So I'll make sure to get the theme because I still have them on my external. I actually still jam to them to this day.
A lot of
right.
yeah,
So do I.
Brian does too.
Yep.
We do. Yeah.
So yeah. So this is Veronica's theme. Like I said, her father.
This is
was
the
a demo-
piano.
Yes. Yes.
This is the piano.
And I love just the vision of just that jamming on that piano for those notes. But for me, as me, former military, this song just the
so
way the
fucking
cannons
huge.
fire is just, and it sucks because your speakers are perfect for it. Like
Yeah.
when we turn it on, boom,
Absolutely.
and then all of a sudden, I listen to it on my phone or with headphones, and it's just like.
Right.
It's like, oh, you bring a squirt gun to a cannon fight.
You're right. Well,
But
hopefully it'll translate to our listening audience because it sounds so huge in
Yeah.
great speakers.
yes. But no, this is Veronica's. This is my personal favorite. But yeah, this is Veronica.
Oh, wait a minute. It's going way too fast.
I was gonna say
Whoa.
that's really
What the
that's
heck? Hold on. What?
really fast.
Give me a second here. Wow, I'm trying to... What is going on?
Studio magic.
Studio magic.
That's what's happening.
Give me the details. What is going on here?
It's like chipmunk Veronica.
Right. All right, so let's go back and do this. No, wrong one. Time. There we go.
So you need to put him back to work so he knows what he's doing again.
Do you need someone over here?
Oh, I know what I'm doing.
Damn it! Now I gotta
I know.
So on a side note,
Yeah.
like you said, it's been a while since I've been back in the studio and everything. And so one thing I used to do is I used to hit on Tony's mom all the time whenever I was here. And it was
Yeah.
always jokingly and playful, and it was
Right.
never,
She didn't offer no farms or nothing.
yeah, she did, but we're not gonna tell Tony. Tony was almost my son. I'm just saying. But I hadn't seen her in how long.
Yeah.
And so today I went up and I said hello, and she saw me sitting there, and just the smile that came on her face when I was just like, "How are you?" And that's what I miss is just that. And
The
one thing
fun.
you touched on is we were the family.
Yep.
We were in a group of friends that just kind of hung out because we did everything not studio related too,
Yep.
Oh,
and it was
absolutely.
just constant.
Family dinner and
Yep.
hanging out and
And we always looked out for each other, and we always had each other's backs. And whenever someone was down,
Yeah.
we were the first people that we talked to.
Yep.
And I do, and I'm looking forward to hopefully continuing everything
Absolutely.
to get back to the new
Let me see
norm.
if this actually
Yeah,
fixed it.
exactly.
Was it a little faster than that?
Yes, that's slightly slow.
Okay.
It should go.
It's been really fun. Are you playing again before I go? It's been really fun reminiscing with you here in studio and hanging out. It's been awesome to go over all of this stuff and talk with you, and to let the listening audience know, because last week when we played, everybody was very for
We're
it,
getting a
interested.
great response tonight.
So
People loving this
yeah,
stuff.
absolutely, and it's fun because we want to bring it back up.
Yeah.
It's not over yet.
Yeah, it never died. It just
And-
kind of went on hold.
We're to give a shout out to our brother station or whatever you want to call
Mm-hmm.
it, solidstateradio.net. They restream us over there. Shout out to Adam and Sean. We love what they do. They restream every single one of our podcasts that we do here. So, and we're constantly doing the shameless plug stuff to pay the bills and do the things that we got to do. So, if they don't catch us on here, they'll catch us on solidstateradio.net. So we got to go over there and give those guys crap in the studio.
Say
one
this
of these
every
days.
time.
I know.
The best
Every
thing you can
time.
do. So for anybody who's interested, we do have a Facebook page set up.
Yeah.
It's still there.
Yep.
Some of the information is old only because we had to put it on hold.
Right.
Right.
But if you message, go ahead and like the page. If you message it, we do respond. Our admins still look.
Yes.
Yep. But yeah, just like a couple days ago, I got somebody messaged, and I was like, "Well, that's weird."
Yeah.
But I responded
Right.
and started a conversation. So that's
Absolutely.
awesome.
we still. So I mean, if you're interested in acting, producing, writing,
Yeah.
even directing, it's from my head. I have a very specific vision.
Right.
However, some people know better tricks and techniques of the camera.
Right.
So, but yeah, if you're interested in anything,
Right.
You got to start small before you get big.
That's right.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
head over there. It's Cog Works Slums.
Yep.
Yes.
On Facebook.
On
you guys.
Facebook.
You can find it. I put the link on the YouTube.
On the
YouTube
YouTubes?
chat. In the YouTube's chats. It's there.
Hello, YouTube.
Go over there though. Go over there and like it. We love having the responses from you guys, not just for this show, but for everything. And like he said, the admins will be looking at the page, anything that you guys send over. So yeah, please go like it and share it.
yeah.
Keep paying attention because we're working on big things.
Yep.
So hopefully I have the time synced up right. So.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Let's try
This is
this.
Veronica's theme.
So good.
So good.
All of it is so good. Just saying, not tooting your guys' horn, but
Beep,
so
beep.
good.
Well, and I have to say that so we have the music for the characters and everything, but
Yeah.
and we worked backwards
Mhm.
where we would create these scenes
Yeah.
and we create music for these scenes. Normally what they do is they shoot the scene and then they put the music in,
Mhm.
where we said this is how the scene is going to be.
Right. Right.
And we have these very, very beautiful pieces. I mean, the end of season 1 with the whole Slade situation.
Mhm.
We have, like I said, Sarah out of the ashes.
Yeah.
That's a very beautiful piece.
Oh, God.
James, when we introduced the bike,
Yeah.
all of these scenes. And I remember I would just say, hey, this is how I have this scene envisioned.
Yep.
This happens, and then all of a sudden this, and then the camera changes over here,
Yeah.
and then we follow him over here, and then this happens, and then and it's just like, yeah, that fits.
I got something.
Yep. So and honestly, so nice working with you those years ago because it was just a natural flow.
Well, and that was the great part about it is a lot of the music the way that we did things backwards really lent it that much easier to the story, because it wasn't there was ever the well was empty, because there was always a little morsel that someone would throw out when we were brainstorming, or when we were doing table reads, or whatever it was. And it was just like, yes, and you'd be up and you'd be pacing, and you're like, I got this scene, and just boom, and notes.
Yep.
And we would sit there and we would write out, full seasons just off one little tasty morsel, whether it was a piece of music or whether it was let's revisit that scene and try and work out some of the dialogue.
And that's one thing. I'm blessed. I have ADHD. But I have a very, very creative mind.
You have a unanimous choir over there.
Yes. But
I understand your pain. I'm just saying, Adam. Too.
So no, I remember when we were, standing in the garage once, and then a friend of a friend came and said, "Oh yeah, I got an idea. Could you turn it into a movie?" And he gave me like 2 sentences.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, here's what you're gonna do. Did this happens. There's this love story. He goes away, comes back, and then and it's like, what do we call it? Chasing Hope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Chasing Hope.
Yeah, it was Chasing Hope, and it was about this guy who fell in love with this girl, and he's just like,
holy shit, where did that come from?
I just told you, 2 sentences.
Right.
It's like it's because it's a natural progress of this is how human beings act. However, if you throw this and a monkey wrench in here, this is what inevitably has to happen.
Yeah.
Either you overcome your fears or you are controlled by them. And that was the point. And even when Heather came to me with an idea and said, "I have this idea," all her idea.
Yeah.
All I did is said, "This is how you should shoot it."
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And
Which I still haven't given up on that idea.
I haven't either.
All right. Okay.
the opening scene itself.
We have to shoot her. That's such a great. I almost forgot about that until you guys just mentioned it. I'm like, wait a minute.
I'm not giving spoilers.
At least the name.
What was the name?
Destiny.
Reaching Destiny.
Reaching
Destiny.
Destiny.
That. Oh
Yep.
God.
Yep. So no spoilers.
Yep.
Yeah. So, well, you guys, I don't want to close out on that time, but it's past that time.
Is it already?
Yeah. I know. It's been awesome to have you here in studio. I'm so glad that you guys were able to join in with us tonight.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys being here, and all of you on YouTube and Twitch, and the ones that are listening on solidstateradio.net. We appreciate you guys very much. Thank you for the support. Keep on paying attention to the Facebook page for Cogworks Slums.
Yeah.
So that you guys can like and follow and see what's happening, because, like I said, things I think are going to start shaking again with that. So if you guys like the music, give us a thumbs up on that. Yeah. Tony and Leon worked really hard on that stuff, and then painting the picture.
We had a blast.
Yeah, so thank you guys for joining us and tuning in with us tonight. Big shout out to Chris right now. He was not able to join us tonight.
Yeah, he's a bit under the weather.
He's a bit under the weather, but so if you guys do that whole thing,
yeah,
keep him in your thoughts.
Absolutely.
So, all right, we'll see you guys next Thursday.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Guitar Fridays is tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah, check that out.
This is My Brain Saturday, Survivor Girl Sunday.
Yes.
All right.
I'm like, maybe.
And we've got all the restream stuff going on with Solid State Radio, so you guys check it out. Go to Cogworks Slums on Facebook. Give them a like, share, pimp them out.
Oh, yep, hold on.
Yeah, it's Cogworks Slum. All one word with 3 spaces.
Yes.
That's right. So
There you go. So thank you, Leon, for joining us tonight. It's been awesome having you here. And thank you again, guys. We will see you next Thursday. And until then, stay weird.